Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow, and today we're going to be talking about some big Cardano news, institutional inflows into Cardano, and a lot of other fun stuff. We're also going to be talking about Crow Trader and some new developments and discussions with my developer on that bot after my attempted use of two other leading trading bots that have not gone so well. And we're going to cover kind of what I've discovered on that. Basically, a lot of other stuff. This is going to be a good Monday. Stick around. We'll be right back.
If it's bull or bear, I don't care. It's quiet.
I need to work on that intro. I know. Oh, you'll also notice I'm wearing one of my shirts, my Cardano Club shirts, and I've been working on making at least one of these, a new one a week, and they're selling. You guys are buying them. I want to see you guys tagging me on Twitter when you get them. The quality of these is actually pretty good. I'm actually pretty impressed. I'm happy with it. But yeah, tag me on Twitter and I'll retweet it. I want to see everybody in the Cardano community wearing these Cardano shirts. Let's go ahead and dive right into what's going on. And there's definitely a lot to cover today. Monday. Is Cardano eyeing a significant move in the next 2 to 3 months? According to market analyst Sebi, the most epic move in Cardano's history will start in the next 2 to 3 months as a 15 to 20x surge is in the offering. It's interesting. We're gonna look at some of the price history of Cardano on the charts, and there's definitely a lot happening, and it's obvious that there's a lot of buildup that's happening, and the institutions are definitely accumulating their bags. They're building their bags. I'm trying to figure out why, because it's obvious that the institutions are putting in millions of dollars into Cardano lately, and the amount has been growing. The volume has been growing from these groups. I'm trying to figure out if it's because there's an impending ETF or not. Are they just basically banking on the pump of the run, or what's happening? This means that ADA will scale heights and hit the zone between $6 and $8.50. And such a move will make Cardano a force to be reckoned with in the crypto space. Time will tell how Cardano shapes up in the short and long term, with the Chang upgrade meant to propel decentralization being on the horizon. Now, let's go ahead and cover some other stuff here. So is Solana, because this plays into it. You guys are going to think I'm beating up on Solana, and I'm not. I will tell you, there's always a big difference in content when it comes to Solana articles. Because anytime I see an article that's like really favorable, or it's basically putting Solana on a pedestal, it's always paid for. You'll see promo or something like that. And then I see articles like this, and I scan through, I'm like, this doesn't look like a paid read, and I don't think it is. But man, the amount of paid for advertising that I see coming out of the Solana group, whoever's paying for them, it's just mind boggling. I feel like 90% of what I read about Solana on crypto news sites is paid for somehow. It's an advertisement, and it's a veiled advertisement. And then I found this one, and I couldn't find any trace of it being a paid ad. So I'm like, okay, let's read this. What does it say? And it says, is Solana at risk of a price reversal? What historical trends say? Historical price actions signal that Solana may experience a price reversal from the $204 level yet again. Solana jumped 4.5% in the last 24 hours, reaching highs not seen since April 2024. At press time, bulls were prominent compared to short sellers, indicating that short sellers were exhausted. I'm not going to redo the whole thing because I don't care, but this is an interesting chart. If Sol breaches the $203 level, nearly $132 million worth of short positions will be liquidated. I'm really curious as to what's going to play out here, because there's obviously a big narrative about Solana and how they think that it's going to be prime for it's going to be the next altcoin to have an ETF. But there's another read that I'm going to show you a little bit later, where I don't think that's going to be the case. And like I've said this many times now. I've said if you were an institution, and keep in mind, I'm not necessarily a fan of having an ETF. I don't think Charles seems to mind it, but I'm not a big fan of having a Cardano ETF. I just think that the very nature of why so many of us are into it, aside from the potential gains, obviously, is because of the decentralized nature of it, the community-driven force behind Cardano's future. I think that is one of the key drivers of a lot of its adoption. And aside from like its security, scalability, interoperability, all of that, people are learning more and more each day why interoperability is such a big deal when it comes to crypto. And so, you know, I just don't want the institutions to have more power in voting in what's happening with Cardano than the general public itself. And it all depends on how much they're able to accumulate over time in these ETFs, because let's face it, if you are an ETF fund manager or a fund, you know, whoever you are, whether you're BlackRock or whoever, and you are accumulating all of this ADA on spot markets on the behest of, or, you know, at the behest of retail investors that are ultimately putting money into Cardano or other crypto assets on behalf of like a 401k or some sort of retirement investment fund or whatever the case may be, well, that institution is going to retain voting power. So in effect, they're becoming the voice of what could be millions of people across the world voting on their behalf, because he who controls the ADA controls the vote, right? So, you know, to some extent, now there may be things in the new constitution or whatever that I'm sure are going to get voted on by the public to, I'm hoping, help offset the power of whales, because I really don't believe that, you know, to some extent, I think at a certain point, what's the point I'm trying to get across? I don't think one individual who bought, you know, 50 gazillion ADA when it was a penny a piece should be able to dictate what happens, you know, 5 or 6 or 10 years from now, right? Against the will of everyone else holding it. And I don't want to see that kind of power fall into the institution's hands on behalf of everyone. Now, if there was something that said, okay, you, Mr. Fund Manager, you can vote, but you have to prove that you've somehow polled or enabled your holders to vote, whether it's through mail or some sort of app or something like that, so that everybody that you're holding the ADA for in your institutionalized fund is able to have their say in what happens on the blockchain, if they even care. Some may not. So I don't know. It's kind of a sticky situation, but I just know that I don't want the power of, you know, millions and millions and millions of ADA falling into the hands of, you know, one particular individual and then them voting based off of some altruistic corruption, like whatever crazy crap, you know, somebody can throw into the mix. I don't really, that does bother me. It worries me a bit. But then I also see that, you know, the narrative that they're trying to form is that Solana's next in line, right? Well, while to me it makes complete sense, right, for something like Solana to be controlled by the institutions, because let's face it, it's already basically controlled by its early adopters, its dev team, its venture capitalist groups. All of the people that initially invested into it are ultimately controlling the entire sphere of influence around Solana, which is working for its holders right now. Maybe it'll continue to work for its holders forever. I really don't know. I just know the nature of what is happening with Solana, and it does make sense that, you know, institutions are going to want a piece of that, right? And so, especially as the narrative continues to be projected out about how great it is and how technologically sound it is, and all of this stuff that we know isn't necessarily the truth, as in terms of like all things. I mean, we've seen it shut down. We see all the problems that it has. a lot of the big story exposés about its inception and everything that's happened since, like, but the general public doesn't seem to care about any of that. They just care about number go up, which is fine. I do too. Like, hey, listen, if I'm bot trading, I don't mind bot trading with Solana, because I'm pretty sure, at least for the short term, I can expect that price to go up, because even when everything else is going down, Solana somehow still manages to go up. Somebody should investigate that. I'd love to understand how it's pulling that off effectively. But you know, it could all be just normal, like, hey, you know, the meme coin market is booming when everything else is falling, because everybody loves to buy a lottery ticket, and they're all doing it on Solana meme coins because you could put in a few bucks and make a quick exit, if you exit before it gets rugged, and you know, like 90 something percent of all of the Solana meme coins are getting rug pulled and everybody's losing their money. But it's like a game to a lot of people. You know, there's always that continual chance that the one meme coin you threw $100 into is going to make you $100,000. And so people keep playing that lottery. And so, and then the narratives associated with Solana that are always being put out in the media, whether paid for or not, are continuing to drive up the interest in Solana. And like, hey man, a game well played. I mean, I'll say that regardless of whatever happens. I mean, the game's been well played, especially since the FTX debacle. But the narrative is that it's supposed to be next in line for these ETFs. And I actually believe that it could be true as well. I don't know, but there's other things that I'm going to cover. I've already talked about this way too long. 11 minutes. Geez, sorry. Justin, Cardano ADA DEX trading volume surpasses 35 million ADA this week. So that's a pretty cool little thing. Also, Riskwise ProoDoio. You guys aren't, you got it on me. You don't want to see me right now. Riskwise ProoDoio. This is building up to become basically like the coin market cap or coin gecko of Cardano assets. And I'm actually, I'm digging this. I know there's a big team that's building it out, and I don't necessarily think it's 100% complete yet. So it's not necessarily finished, ready for public consumption, but it's definitely coming a long way, and this is continuing to get built up. And I'm pretty excited about what this is going to offer. You're going to be able to trade the assets using Dex Hunter, which is going to be a big deal. I think when this site is officially booming, and we're all referencing it every day in the Cardano ecosystem, as we probably should be, I think it's going to drive up Dex Hunter, which I got a bullish signal in Dex Hunter recently. So this is just a really cool platform, and I am working with them. We're working with them on Crow Score. I've got some development going on behind the scenes with that as it relates to Crow Score. And so yeah, just bookmark that website, because you're going to be referencing it quite a bit, I'm sure, in this market cycle. Despite the stability, Cardano reached 77 cents. What is this article about? I don't remember. Cardano long-term holders increase. What next? Okay. One of the most popular altcoins, Cardano, has been rather unfazed by the recent price corrections, where we saw Bitcoin drop to around 54,000. I think it was actually wicked down to about 53,000. Despite the stability, Cardano reached 77 cents. It actually reached like 83 cents. This is all relevant to whatever exchange people are referencing. It was different for everybody, but the general, Cardano got to around 83, 84 cents, I think, in March, and experienced a significant decline to its current price of 40 cents, as did everything else. Despite the question isn't necessarily what dropped from March. So when Bitcoin saw its new all-time high, a lot of crypto assets rose with it. I feel like a lot of the crypto assets that are primed to basically skyrocket, I think ultimately it's not a question of what dropped. I think the question is what rose and what didn't. When Bitcoin spiked up to its new all-time high, what crypto assets rose with it and then fell? Those are probably the ones that are going to do really, really well this market cycle. The ones that didn't really move or rise are generally the ones that probably aren't going to fare well. So that's something that I've been looking at in terms of charts and what crypto assets are likely going to have a really good run. Cardano rose like 200%. So I'm pretty sure that's in a good spot. But anyway, additionally, the inflows of large holders addresses holding over 0.1% of ADA supply has surged by over 20,000% in the past 3 months, indicating increased buying from significant investors. So more and more people are accumulating ADA, and a lot of people are using this kind of this accumulation period to accumulate more ADA. While these indicators suggest long-term confidence in ADA, the short-term outlook remains bearish. The moving average convergence divergence indicator shows a bearish trend, and I'm going to show you why. If the downward trend continues, ADA could potentially fall to 31 cents, reaching a low not seen since October 31 of 2023. We're going to look at the prices here in a little bit. Why BlackRock does not plan more crypto ETFs. The community had harbored high hopes for a Solana ETF, especially after the launch of Ethereum's ETFs. However, Mitchnick indicated that the firm might not have plans for more crypto ETFs for the time being. I don't think we're going to see a long list of crypto ETFs. If you think of Bitcoin today, it represents about 55% of the market cap. Ethereum is at 18%. The next plausible investable asset is at like 3%. It's just not close to being at that threshold or track record of maturity, liquidity, etc. So basically they're saying that, you know, it's just not in the cards for Solana or any other altcoin for that matter. In contrast, Nate Garachi, president of ETF Store, highlighted the existence of Solana, XRP, and Cardano exchange traded products in Europe. He suggested a potential path forward might emerge under a revised regulatory framework. Surprised BlackRock would say this. It will definitely require a meaningful crypto regulatory shift and framework, but I think that will happen. So here's the thing. I actually think that that's bullshit, to be honest. I think that while BlackRock might be saying one thing, I do believe if we look at a lot of the inflows into Cardano and other assets, I believe that a lot of these inflows may, and I don't know legally if this is even allowed, but if I were to hazard a guess, I would assume that based off of the institutional inflows and accumulation of late, that they're piling on for a future ETF, because if they're able to accumulate at prices between around 40 cents and then launch an ETF when, you know, like Cardano, for example, if they're picking it up at 40 cents and then they launch an ETF, you know, even if it's mid-run and Cardano's trading at like $1.50 or $2 at the time, well, that they're already doing very, very well. Because all of that cash is inflow. Now, I'm pretty sure with Bitcoin, they weren't allowed to do that. Doesn't mean they don't. I mean, because, you know, when you're talking about trillions or billions of dollars, what's $1 million fine for doing something like that? They all do shady shit. That's just it's like paying these fines to a lot of these institutional players. It's just like the cost of business. It's like buying frozen French fries at a fast food restaurant to then cook them and sell them at a much bigger profit. It's just the cost of business. So, you know, it's not good, but, you know, I think that that's a part of what could be happening right now. They're loading up, and I think they could be loading up on Solana as well. I said, how are they making the price rise so much when everything else is down? Well, maybe the narrative is publicly, no, we're probably not going to be launching any of this because they don't want the FOMO to drive the prices up on them while they're accumulating in preparation for the launch. Listen, I'm not a fan of Solana, but let's call it what it is. You know, I always try to be straight up. I do believe that there's a good chance that they are probably working on a Solana ETF, regardless of what they tell the public. We've seen these narratives play out for years where they say Bitcoin's bad. And then, you know, you know, the whole time that they're downplaying Bitcoin or crypto or the industry as a whole, and they're playing into these narratives with the politicians. What are they doing? Well, they're actually building their investment vehicles behind the scenes that takes a year or two for them to develop, perfect, and all of that. And then all of a sudden, once they're ready to start doing business in the space, everything is fine and dandy. Everything's great. Bitcoin's going to be $1 million a coin. And then the narratives flip. So this kind of stuff means nothing to me when it comes to the crypto space at all. But, you know, we are seeing more inflows into Cardano. Solana has actually been seeing exits. So there have been people leaving Solana. Oh, I'm not even showing you. So, however, there were other winners as well. Digital assets, investment products that have shown exceptional momentum in terms of inflows, although not as much as Bitcoin. One of these is Cardano. According to the data, inflows into Cardano ETPs totaled 1.2 million last week, 300% more than the week before. So inflows are growing into Cardano, but leaving Solana. So I actually found that interesting. I don't even know what to say about that. That's kind of surprising with the way that, but, a lot of people too are saying, maybe there's a chance that Solana's about to start working backward a little bit because it's had so many gains when everything else was coming down, and maybe they're going to start, tapering on that a little bit. I'm not quite sure what's happening. I don't know that I'll ever fully understand all of the nuances of Solana and how it's getting to where it's been. But, the whole chart's right here showing a lot of the inflows and the outflow of different assets, especially from different countries. And Cardano is continuing to grow. I mean, there's no question about that. So, and you can also see like Bitwise ETFs, negative 87 million, ARK 21 shares, negative 49 million, Grayscale Investments, negative 14. Wow, that's almost $1.5 billion. So Grayscale is not doing that great in terms of their asset holding. So it is what it is. Make sure you check out Cardano Club .my Shopify. Links are in the description. Pick up a shirt. You can pick up the shirt I'm wearing right now if you want. I love my shirt. Actually, this doesn't show, but I have stuff on the sleeves as well. And I forget even what it says. Something about don't trust the vote, verify it. Cardano. So yeah, I think that everything should be verified personally, but, I've got some ideas for other shirts and things, and, I'm always open to ideas. So if you've got ideas for really cool shirts, let me know in the comments, cause I'll make them. Also, make sure you join my, newsletter, my Substack. The link is in the description below, so check it out. Now, looking at the price activity, I have been dead ass accurate on this for a while now, as the price has been moving with a Wyckoff reaccumulation pattern. And you'll see I drew this green prediction line. Okay, you can see it highlighted if I roll over it. You can see how that is shaped up in terms of the actual price action, right? I mean, it's to the T. And now here we are. And I'm not 100% sure what's happening, but you can see, well, this is on a 2-day. This is all playing out on a 2-day candle. And we've been moving down. The price is continuing to move down. We're also at a Monday at 1 p.m. So what can happen is, not only could this reverse this evening and start working its way back up, play into the Tuesday market where we start closing this candle in blue, and then by Wednesday, a complete reversal from where we are today, moving up into new highs and continuing the trajectory of this planned price action. I'm not saying this is 100% what's going to happen, but we saw the same thing happen here, where I thought, oh, wow, we're really going lower. And then we pulled back up. That's the beauty of a 2-day chart, is that it's not just what's happening on one day, but concludes on the end of the second day. So if we have price to the downside today, it starts to reverse and then comes back and can close just higher than this candle here. And then, it could close up here. We're still in line with where our planned trajectory is to complete this Wyckoff reaccumulation pattern. And then boom, by Wednesday, which Wednesday is typically a reversal, to some extent, a reversal of what has happened on Monday's market open. And then we could continue moving back up. And, hell, by the time this concludes, it should be somewhere around $74,500 before we get a real close correction. And then we might go sideways for a little bit once we've pulled out of this zone. That's what I see potentially happening. And I think that a lot of what's coming is going to be happening in August. I really think August is going to be a huge month. And I need to get rid of these because it's different. If we look at the liquidity, you can see there's a lot of liquidity lining up here around the 70,383 level. So we've got $581 million just sitting here waiting to be plucked. And then we've also got $477 million all the way down here at 63,448. So we'll see how that plays out. But, I'm still very bullish until that whole Wyckoff reaccumulation pattern gets completely destroyed. what I might end up doing as well is I might try working on future predictions, because these Wyckoff patterns, they work in conjunction with each other. One sets up the next, whether the price is going up or down, whether it's going to be a corrective phase, an accumulation phase, or a distribution phase. And so I might try to plan the next potential phase out in advance and see if we follow that the same way we've done this, because this has been uncanny. I mean, you can't deny that this has just absolutely been uncanny. So we'll see. Moving into Cardano, it's been really just lining up on this support level here around 40 cents, and it really seems like it wants to move up. And, I think this is going to some degree for right now, continue moving in the vein of Bitcoin. And then once we get the Chang hard fork launch, which should be happening in the not so distant future, we're climbing up 35% of all nodes are sitting at 9.1.0. So this is like the real Chang's ready to go. So we're literally halfway to the Chang hard fork launch. It's obviously going to happen next month. A lot of people said by the end of July, but I figured it's going to happen in August. It's going to take a little time. All these nodes need to upgrade. 7% are at 9.0. So that's at over 40%. And that's the latest. So 9.1.0 is the latest. And Crow node should be upgrading soon. We'll see. But yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Pool tool, there are currently 2,873 nodes, and I definitely expect this number to grow as more people start launching their own nodes. And we'll see. But so Kamala Harris's team reached out to me about participating in a roundtable and strategy session about Bitcoin and crypto. I politely responded that I would only join after Gary Gensler is fired and the political crusade against Bitcoin by the Biden administration is ended, says Mike Alfred. I followed him after that. 163,000 followers. I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, Rand Nooner, proof for it didn't happen. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And let's see here. I took a poll on my Twitter. What time are you on YouTube watching my videos? It looks like a lot of you are watching me at night. And because I've been trying to figure out what the best time to start releasing my videos is. This is between 5 p.m. Eastern and 11 p.m. Eastern. Let me know in the comments if you don't mind. What time do you watch these videos? Because I noticed that one thing I remembered is that when I was originally starting my channel, I would be going live as late as like 11 p.m. Eastern. Like I was going live really late in the evening, and I would have thousands of people. And I'm like, are there thousands of you at night that wished I was back to doing like really like later videos? Because I feel like nowadays the daytime content is so there's just so much of it. So let me know, because I would happily start going live or start releasing content later in the evening if that's what most of you preferred. Now, this is Crow Trader. It's crowtrader.com. Don't buy it yet. I'm just showing you because I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it here because I've just talked to my developer about this, because a lot of you guys know I've been using Crow Trader lately. And one of the big hangups with Crow Trader is that it's so difficult not only to maintain development across Mac OS, Linux, Windows, right? Now there are different versions of Mac OS in terms of like what CPU you're running. I think you have Silicon, and then you have I forget what the other one is. There's like the older version and the new version. Like the new Mac Studios run a newer version. There's just a lot of different nuances to all of that, and it's just made it really difficult. And then on top of that, you've got different exchanges. And so to keep up with all of the OS options, as well as all of the different exchanges, I've got one guy that's basically been building all of this. And, if I'm not using the bot directly myself and showing gains, then I don't talk about it on the channel, which basically makes sure that nobody buys it, which basically makes sure that, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we're going to make some changes, and I don't know 100% how long we're going to take, but I'll tell you this. So I tried to And if you're not into bot trading, that's the rest of this video. You can sign off now. Totally cool. But I do think you should stay around because you might pick up something. You're going to learn something. I consider bot trading money printers because when they work, they really work. Crow Trader really works. But it's difficult when these exchanges release new API updates, and then you have to change everything across the board, man. It's like such a challenge, and it's expensive to do in man hours and time. And especially if you're experimenting with things, it's just difficult to keep up with. I went out and I'm like, okay, I am like really itching for bot trading. So I went back out and I wanted to get back into Profit Trailer. And then I thought maybe I'll also try GunBot again. GunBot was the very first license I ever bought back in like 2017. And I bought like a lifetime license. GunBot was exceedingly difficult to set up. I mean, it was just really hard to use. And then I found Profit Trailer and there was a lot of help. The community was bustling. There were lots of people willing to help. The support was pretty good. Like everything was solid. Then through the market cycles, it's like the bots made so much money. It's almost like those bots made so much money during those cycles that they just let them go to shit. I mean, I'm just going to be real honest with you. Like the Profit Trailer community is all but a graveyard. Like there's a handful of people in there asking questions, and you've got like one or two people that try to help the community. But like it took me over 3 days, hours of each day to ask a question, get a response, ask a question, get a response, just to try and get the bot running. I was pulling my hair out. I was furious. The founder of the bot apparently was on vacation for a couple of weeks. They're like, there's just so many things that have changed about the bot. And all I was trying to do is just get some of my old strategies running again. It was virtually, I don't want to say impossible. There were questions that I had that I could not remember when I was running it back in the, keep in mind, I used to be the #1 Profit Trailer affiliate. Well, their affiliate program's gone. Like that page is wiped and there's like error code on that page. Nobody gives a shit about the affiliate program anymore. The systems were taken out of Telegram and put into Discord, which I found cumbersome and difficult to maneuver. I was generally waiting several hours, if not a day, for a response from somebody. Then I found, you have to open a ticket. Okay, I'll open the ticket. And the help I got once the ticket was open was pretty cool, and I'm grateful for it. It's like there are people still trying to keep the bot alive. But the community is bunk, man. Like, I mean, it's died out so much. And I have to think that they made so much money and they put a lot of work into building the bot out. But a lot of it died away. And I think that they just kind of said, all right, well, we already made a bunch of money. Let's work on other things. That's the vibe I get from Profit Trailer today. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I would love to be able to use it effectively again, but I've just been really struggling to get it working on a Mac, which I got this new Mac specifically to handle my AI automation projects and my bot trading, because I don't keep anything else connected to the internet. And I just, that was it. So I wanted to use it on a local machine. Then I got into GunBot. I'm looking at my GunBot screen right now, and I have had the help of an individual because the support has been really good that I've been getting from GunBot. And I have to be honest, they set me up on a strategy that's supposed to really churn and burn. It hasn't closed a single sale yet. I've been running this now for 24 hours, and it's just not doing anything. GunBot is still the most complicated bot I've ever seen. I think, to my knowledge, which I don't know for sure, I've never used it, but there's a bot called HasBot that apparently is even more complicated than this. And I'm trying to get it running, and I have had a gentleman, I think he's from the UK, and just not only am I trying to get a really difficult bot to work on a Mac that I haven't really used the Macs in years, like over a decade, 2 decades. I mean, I used to be a Mac specialist. I used to have the entire operating system like stored in my memory. Like I knew every file, everything about Mac OS up to like 7.5.5, which I know that's old. but I was like a teenager and I was doing Apple support at the time. And I had to walk people through fixing things from memory and do it quickly in under 4 minutes, I think was our like average, like what they wanted our call times to be before we were on to the next call. It's crazy. It's all flooding back to me. But anyway, I haven't used Mac in so long. So I'm trying to learn Mac command line shit all at the same time. I'm trying to learn how to get this bot running. And I've had this great help from this GunBot support guy. I mean, really, really working with me, okay? Because everything we do is not working. And he's like, okay, send me this log file. Send me this. Send me that. Okay, try this. Okay, change that setting. I mean, we've been doing this now for days, and my bot hasn't closed a single trade. And I'm like, you know what? I really believe that we have something with CrowTrader. I really, really do. And I wasn't sure for the longest time, but I swear to God, I would be able to take CrowTrader, open it up, set up just the stock base Bollinger Band strategy, hit fucking start, and it would start trading and make me money. I'm not kidding. It was that easy. I used to tell people a grandmother could get CrowTrader running and not know jack shit. She could just install it, set it up, plug in her API keys with the exchange she wants to trade on, and away she goes. And I'm like, you know what? We really have something with CrowTrader. We need to get back on it, because after trying to use these other bots, and I'm like craving it. I'm craving like watching my bot trade and watching my P&L and everything go. And it's like, I miss that fun. I miss the treasure hunting. And it's like, we had CrowTrader ready to start using like AI strategies, and, you can plug in your, you can plug it in so that if you set up a trading view strategy with alerts, that CrowTrader will trade those alerts. We've been doing so much stuff with CrowTrader, but we just kind of like, it's a bear market. Nobody cares about the bot. Nobody's buying it. And it's so cumbersome to keep developing. So we changed things. We're going to change it so that you don't have to worry about operating system anymore. We're going to basically work on setting this up on a subscription model so that you're not having to pay $300, $400, $500, whatever it is. You're not going to have to worry about buying it with Bitcoin. We're going to change all of that. We're basically going to set it up. We want to set it up in a way that you're able to basically pay a subscription fee every month. You cancel it whenever you want, and it's going to run on a VPS. And that's it. Because that way we can set up these VPS packages so that when we're building the bot, we're adding functions, we only have to worry about one operating system. We only have to worry about the exchanges that are working and that are maintaining their APIs properly. We're not going to juggle 30 different exchanges. We're not going to juggle all of that, because it's almost impossible to do unless you've got a huge team. And we basically want to focus in on what works, what's easy to maintain, and then grow from there. And rather than grow on, you've got your Linux version, your Mac version, your Windows version, and all this shit where you're downloading them, you're trying to run them locally. We basically just want to set up an automation where you're going to basically be able to buy the bot. You pay every month, whatever we figure out it to be. We're going to have to figure that out. You're going to pay every month. You're going to plug in your API keys, and you're going to let the bot run, and that's it. And you're going to be able to access the whole interface and everything through the VPN service. And that's going to be the easiest way, so that you ultimately aren't going to have to deal with any of that shit. It's just, you're going to set up your subscription. Here's your login to get into your VPN, and there's your bot running. You can change it the way you would on a local system. And that's basically the plans for hopefully the very not so distant future. And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to really dive back into bot trading again. And so I think that's going to be the easiest approach, so that we can really keep things going. It's cost effective for people. Maybe you just want to try it for a month. Maybe you want to run it for 6 months. Maybe you just want to run it through the bull market. Whatever the case may be. But I think that's going to be what we're going to do from now on. So just know that we're working on it. I want to freaking bot trade, and I can't bot trade because everything has gone to shit in the market with trading bots. And I want more than a little silly grid bot on Binance. I'm sorry. I want more control than that. And I want to be able to institute more effective strategies than that. I like my EMA cross. I like my EMA spread. I like my Bollinger Band strategies. I like, being able to set up confluence strategies where, you trade on your EMA cross, but only if the RSI is above or below this much. I like being able to set up those variables in my bot to make sure that my trades are more accurate. And then on top of that, I like being able to really easily set up my DCA triggers. If I want to DCA 10 times off of an initial trade at a certain percentage structure, I want to be able to set that up easily. I don't want to have to go through, the book of James in the Bible and figure out how to put every comma in the right place and all the bullshit. I don't want to deal with all that. And with CrowTrader, I never had to. And so I'm like, you know what? Dude, we got to get this cranking. We got to get this working. I want to use it. I'm ready. The market is primed for it right now. Let's bust this out. Let's make this really, really work well for people and me, because I want it. Damn it, now. Okay. And then we can grow into maybe being able to allow people to trade leverage and things once we get those systems in place. That way it can be profitable, because right now CrowTrader really only does well in a bull market. Because in a bear market, you want to be able to short sell, but we don't have leverage trading in the bot. That's not what we're about. That's not what we've been about. But it looks like more bots are starting to utilize those kinds of things. And so, yeah, we'll look at that later. But for right now, I want this thing to be trading for me in the rest of this bull market until all through 2025, whenever. It's time to get on it. So hopefully you guys are excited about that. I definitely am, because I know now what we really have, that a lot of these other bots don't, and it's time to get cranking on it. So enjoy your Monday, folks. I've got all kinds of stuff going on that I'm going to be revealing here probably over the next 2 to 3 weeks. I think it's going to be really exciting for all of us. So until next time, crow your coins, and I'll see you soon. Go get your shirts. Bye.